Lesson 9. I see nothing as it is now. This idea obviously follows from the two preceding ones. But while you may be able to accept it intellectually, it is unlikely that it will mean anything to you as yet. However, understanding is not necessary at this point. In fact, the recognition that you do not understand is a prerequisite for undoing your false ideas. These exercises are concerned with practice, not with understanding. You do not need to practice what you already understand. It would indeed be circular to aim at understanding and assume that you have it already. It is difficult for the untrained mind to believe that what it seems to picture is not there. This idea can be quite disturbing and may meet with active resistance in any number of forms. Yet that does not preclude applying it. No more than that is required for these or any other exercise. Each small step will clear a little of the darkness away, and understanding will finally come to lighten every corner of the mind that has been cleared of the debris that darkens it. These exercises, for which 3 or 4 practice periods are sufficient, involve looking about you and applying the idea for the day to whatever you see, remembering the need for its indiscriminate application and the essential rule of excluding nothing. For example, I do not see this typewriter as it is now. This typewriter. I do not see this telephone as it is now. I do not see this arm as it is now. Begin with the things that are nearest you and then extend the range outward. I do not see that coat rack as it is now. I do not see that door as it is now. I do not see that face as it is now. It is emphasized again that while complete inclusion should not be attempted, specific exclusion must be avoided. Be sure you are honest with yourself in making this distinction. You may be tempted to obscure it. I see nothing as it is now. This is a continuation of the past few days' lessons. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts, and I see nothing as it is now, right now. Yesterday, the lesson talked about the present moment being the only true time, the only real time there actually is, moment after moment after moment. And I like to think of the present moment as, when we think of someone having presence, I see it as someone allowing the presence of God, the presence of perfect love, the presence of perfect holiness to flow through them. The Course says, I choose the second place to gain the first. We step back and allow God to move through us as an extension of us, through us, as us in the world. That's what a miracle worker does. We are not seeing ultimate reality if we are picturing the past and anticipating the future. We are seeing everything through a filter of the past or a filter of the future, a filter of fear, a filter of judgment, a filter of guilt, limitation, lack, etc. And that's why this work can be so challenging. We are comfortable is the thought system of the world. But this is what the Course and the workbook especially is training us to do, to be able to dismantle that thought system and all of those filters that don't serve us and accept instead the thought system of God, to realign with the mind of God. And we realign with the mind of God right now in this present moment. We ask God to help us to see it differently. I see nothing as it is now. I'm seeing it through a filter of the past or the future or all of those things I said, the fear, the lovelessness. We want to see as God sees. We want to think as God thinks. We want to work miracles. We want a happy, productive, beautiful, joyful, loving, transformed life. A miraculous one. And the way that we do that is by aligning our thoughts with the mind of God in the holy instant, the present moment, now. I see nothing as it is now. I want to see as God sees. So this is what this lesson is teaching us how to do. It says in this lesson that understanding will come. Just do it. It says that in the introduction. It says it over and over again. It's really important to remember that, to keep that at the front of your mind right now as we're going through these early lessons. This is a course. It's a practice. And like any training, we have to practice the basics. My friend Marianne, one of the best things I ever learned from her was practice. Practice the scales. Practice these exercises. Do it. Repetition, repetition, repetition. I am so glad I took that seriously, and I want to instill with you, take this seriously. No musician, unless they're a prodigy, can just pick up an instrument and start playing. They have to go over the scales. They have to practice. Any pianist can't just immediately begin to play a symphony. There's years and years of practice. Don't let that discourage you. But there's practice, there's repetition of the basics. They practice the scales until it becomes second nature. If you've ever seen a singer do a vocal warm-up, how many times have they done that? But it keeps the vocal cords warm. It keeps their voice agile. An Olympic athlete, they warm up, they stretch, keeps their muscles warm. It keeps them limber. It keeps them flexible. Muscle memory is a real thing intellectually as well. And we are learning an entire new thought system, one that's natural to us at our core. But here in the world, we've got a lot of junk in the way, and we're used to a different thought system. One that's not real, but it's still the one we're more practiced at. So you can't hear these things enough. You cannot. I still hear things, and it blows my mind, and I get it in a different way because I'm a different person than when I heard it the first time. And I've learned things, and I've gone through things, and I apply it differently. Practice. Remember, there's that part of our mind that's always trying to distract us. That's its aim, is to distract us from practicing. So it will come up with every excuse for you not to do this work. That's why we can't hear it enough. Because in any moment we're awake, the next moment we might be asleep. We might be distracted. And it's really that intense. It's really that serious. So practice these lessons, do these exercises until it becomes second nature. Because then God can write the symphony through you. I'm so glad. If she's watching this, I'm so glad that I listened to you for this. It's like the best, the most important thing. Do the workbook, do the exercises, practice, practice, practice. So just keep going. You're doing great. Their meaning will unfold, the lessons and concepts and ideas, as you practice, as you do them. And God will continue to provide real life opportunities for you to practice with new experiences, with new challenges. Look at them as an opportunity to apply the daily lesson to that. Whatever is going on in your life is your assignment. Right, remember right now, the present moment, whatever is right in front of you right now is your assignment today, is your assignment to practice these lessons on. It's going to probably be at the forefront of your mind. So incorporate the real life experience. It's whatever comes to mind, whatever's happening right now is your work. And we can clear it all up, get out there, work miracles. We are working to make space for the miraculous. We want to clear the clutter, the nonsense, the past thoughts, the future thoughts, the fearful thoughts, the judgmental thoughts, the thoughts of limitation, the thoughts of lack, the guilt, the regret, the shame, the blame, the anger, all of the upset, all of the discomfort. That is clutter in the way of the miraculous. It will deflect the miracle, because you can either have a grievance, upset, or a miracle. You cannot have both. The vision of one world will cost you the vision of the other. Look how I'm practicing my scales and putting them all together for you. I don't even know what I'm saying. God's doing it for me. So we clear the fear to create space for the miraculous. Truth can come in. We can receive that truth, that love, that understanding, answer, solutions, higher wisdom, and then we can go out as guided. We can hear the voice for God, actually, instead of not being hearing all the other voices. The Course says, let every voice but God's be still within me, so that we can see things as they are now. So God can show us and tell us and help us to see things differently from a space of holiness and love and perfection, instead of judgment, fear, past, future, all of that. And we have to clear the fear so that we can let love lead, let God lead, let holiness lead. When I moved into this house about 13 years ago now, wow. It's a 3-bedroom house, and it was just me and my pets. And I was so excited because I thought, well, I'll have an office and an extra bedroom and a master bedroom. And I really don't have a lot of visitors or guests or anything. So I thought, well, what am I going to use the 3rd bedroom for? And what came to me was a meditation room. It's going to be fantastic. So I bought these beautiful sheer fabric to drape around the room. I had a nice plush carpet in the middle. I had a little table with candles and aromatherapy and a nice cushion in the middle of the room, and I was enveloped in this beautiful sheer fabric in this room, and it was quiet, and that was my sanctuary, my sacred space. So I used it, then I used it a little bit less, then I used it a little bit less, and as one does, we start accumulating things. And this is an old house. There's not a lot of storage in this house. And so I found all of the things I didn't really have room for and that maybe I wanted out of the way. Like, I'll sort through that later. I'll organize this box later. I'm going to have to organize that closet to fit this in there. So I'm just going to put this in the meditation room. And when I have time, I'll sort through that. But I've got to go through this other closet first. And it's just a process. It's a process. So what happened was my sanctuary became my storage room. Did I want to meditate in there? No. Did I want to go in there? No. Did I clean it out? Not really. Not that often. We have the most beautiful, peaceful inner sanctuary within us. The altar of God is within our minds that we can go to at any moment. We get still and quiet and hear the voice for God and hear our guidance and see things as they are now. But we've junked it up. We have made a storage room of our inner sanctuary. We have defiled the altar of God within. And there's all this junk in the way. We can't even open the door. We don't even want to open the door because there's all these boxes in the way. We've hoarded judgment. We've hoarded fear. We've got piles and piles of limitation and lack and memories about the past and anxieties about the future stacked in front of our beautiful inner sanctuary. We can't even access our place of peace, and nor do we want to, because 1, it's a lot of work, we feel like. 2, we don't have time for that. 3, it's uncomfortable going through some of those boxes. We never know what we'll find. So we treasured these fears. We've held on, clinging to these grievances. And we've got a lot of clutter in the way of the beautiful altar within. This is what the Course aims to do. It says in the introduction to the text, this Course does not aim to teach you the meaning of love. That is beyond what can be taught, because it's what you are. You already know that. And that it does aim, however, to teach you how to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence within you. And that's that beautiful altar, that inner sanctuary within. So it's not about this work, this course, the workbook, these exercises, not about becoming something else. It's about chipping away at everything that you aren't, that you think you are. It's about clearing out everything that is not of God, so that the God within, the love within, the light within can shine through unobstructed, undiluted, radiating on full beam, perfect love and perfect peace. Because that's what the world needs. You, miracle worker. You, at full steam ahead. This work is not difficult per se. It's different, the Course says. It's not difficult, it's different. It's our resistance that makes it seem so difficult, because we're so used to and comfortable with the thought system of the world. We're so used to being who we're not meant to be, that this retraining it's like cold water on us in any moment. And we need that. We need to wake up moment by moment by moment. So keep going. Keep doing it. As the lesson says, understanding will come. Just practice. Just apply it. And remember, you're practicing the scales, but not merely practicing the scales, although that's important. You're learning, you're doing it for a reason, a goal, to be able to play the symphony later on. So keep going. I'll see you tomorrow.